Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'm going to be playing another Premier Draft of Phyrexia, All Will Be One. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1 Pick 1. There are 3 premium cards I've really got my eye on here, one of them being Nimrazor Paladin, a very solid value uncommon for any black deck, 5 mana 4/4 Toxic, and Recur, a cheaper creature. Cinder/Slash Ravager, which is the best gold uncommon in the format, because it's in the best archetype and it plays very well in it. Green-red oil just has so many big creatures, so many 2-for-1s and stuff like that, that it's an incredibly powerful archetype. And you can often cast this for only like 4 mana. And a 4 mana 5/5 Vigilance that often blows up 1 or 2 creatures on your opponent's board is absolutely absurd. Then there's Contagious Vorak being a really solid 2-for-1 common that ties us to only 1 color. Basilica Shepherd also pretty sweet. But I'm just going to go big or go home here. I'm just going to first pick Cinder/Ravager. I think the card is nuts, and it leads us into the most powerful archetype in the format if it's open in the draft pod. So I'm going to take the Ravager, see if we get to end up playing it. Some pretty good stuff off color for Pack 1 Pick 2. We have Crawling Chorus in white, being white's best 1-drop, one of white's best commons. Just one of the cheapest toxic creatures in the format, and it's a consistent way to get poisoned on your opponent since it does replace itself with another toxic creature when it dies. Immobilizer is pretty great in blue, being able to lock down some artifacts and creatures for a while. But Viral Spawning, pretty solid in green. Not the best in green-red oil for sure, a lot better in the toxic strategy, but a 3 mana 3/3 that you might be able to cast another copy of later is not that bad. So we could take Viral Spawning just to stay on color and it would be fine, probably better than taking Cackler. But I kind of want to see about maybe just taking Crawling Chorus and staying open for now. I like Crawling Chorus a little better than Immobilizer. Immobilizer's like good, but it doesn't last forever without some extra work. We now have Unctus's Retrofitter, great card for blue-white artifact aggro, and it's also a toxic card. White, of course, has a ton of toxic creatures, so if we end up in blue-white, we should have plenty of white toxic stuff to go with it, so those poison counters could matter, helping us at least corrupt our opponent. So I like Retrofitter a good bit here. Probably the strongest card in the pack. Oil Gorger Troll's pretty great in the green-red oil decks, so we could take that going with our Ravager. I kind of like taking Retrofitter here. Pack is garbage. I mean, I guess there's an okay toxic card in green or black. That's about it. Everything else here is really filler. Even Skitterling, it's been pretty inconsistent to get it going. Yeah, this pack is just bad for everybody. I guess we just take like a Charge of the Mites if we end up in blue-white artifacts. This is an instant speed way to put 2 artifact creatures on the board. And sometimes you can use it as removal. Really not into this. None of these are good in green-red. Pack 1, Pick 5. Furnace Punisher is one of the better cards, just as a solid beat stick for its mana cost. Dune Mover is an artifact creature for the blue-white artifacts deck that could also be a mana fixer in whatever deck we play. It does have 1 toughness, which is a pretty big problem in this format with cards like Cinder/Ravager and other cards that deal 1 damage to everything. But it's most likely to get played. It's completely colorless, and it would be pretty good in the blue-white deck if we go in that direction. Another Dune Mover leaves us pretty open. Orthodoxy Enforcer is just fine, even in the blue-white artifact deck. Same with Ribskiff. It's been a bit slow for the format. Just take Mesmerizing Dose. Actually have a decent removal spell if we get pushed that way. Alright, more black than anything else here, so we just take one of these. We'll go for Annihilating Glare, great black removal spell. Testament Bearer, Aspirants are pretty filler. Kind of everything in this pack is pretty filler. Against All Odds can do some fun stuff. You do have to build around it quite a bit. I'd rather just take a Testament Bearer. Well, yeah, we're seeing more black than anything else. There's that Hazardous Blast that also does 1 to everything. Solid red card. Solid red card in the format. I don't like Siphoner too much. It's gone down a lot in value for me because of cards like Ravager and Hazardous Blast. But it can be good. I would almost rather just go Skitterling here. We might end up... We're going to be like blue-black Proliferate or white-black Toxic. Both can be good strategies. Did wheel the Cackler, but that's kind of the only good green or red card we've seen for our archetype, so I'd rather just take a Mobilizer. In case we go blue-black here. It's been an awkward pack 1 for sure. Pack 1 pick 1 Ravager did not pan out very well for us. Best pick would have ended up being the black uncommon. If we had perfect hindsight and saw how open black was going to be later, that would have been the pick that's panned out the best for us. So anybody who wanted to take that kind of won the lottery here. If you wanted to take the Vorak, we would have still pretty much got punished because we didn't see much good green. Take a Whisper of the Dross. Not incredible, but it can be good for the blue-black Proliferate archetype. The Skitterling. These are all filler green cards. And a last pick Testament Bearer. Okay. Well, we might not be blue-black just yet. I didn't really see any red cards, but Dragon Wing Glider's a ridiculous bomb. A 5-mana 4/4 flying haste. And then you can just move this equipment around to your other creatures, giving them +2/+2 flying haste. This just almost always kills your opponent, like the turn after you play it. It's pretty busted. Might be worth playing a deck with some red in it, even if it's like the only red card. We could be like a black-red deck or a blue-red deck with 20 black or blue cards and then just Glider and whatever we can pick up. Could also take Unctus's Retrofitter. Having double Retrofitter would put us in a pretty great position to go for an artifact deck, but Dragon Wing Glider's so busted, I think I just take it here. Now we can take a Volt Charge to help play that, but it's competing with a Nimrazor Paladin or a Drownin' Ichor, and we're much likelier to play black. I guess not a ton. I mean, it's the Skitterlings that are filler, the Bears that are kind of filler. It's just like Glare and Whisper. This draft has been a little bit of a train wreck. I don't even think we could have ended up with a very good deck right now, unless I pick one pack one again, Nimrazor Paladin, and just took every black card I saw. Then we'd be doing okay. Yeah, I mean, black has felt a little more open than everything else. Even if our black cards aren't great right now, it's probably better to take black removal. Take Drownin' Ichor. Second Tamiyo's Mobilizer. I was going to say third, but the last one wheeled. That's why we saw it twice. That's the best card here. So we'll take that. Maybe we can wheel all the blue-white artifact stuff and just head in that direction. We'll see. If that Retrofitter wheels, then we just jump ship and try to be blue-white artifacts, because it's pretty underdrafted, generally. Feels like the jig is up for green-red. It's super, super heavily drafted all the time now. At least for me in my draft pods. Yeah, we're not really in green for Slaughter Singer. Black cards are pretty slow, pretty bad. Fisher is fine. Eye of Malcator is good for artifact aggro. I guess if I'm in blue-black, the Fisher will be better, so we'll take that. In case that's a thing that'll happen. Like 5 Volt Charge versus a Mobilizer. Interesting. Might actually be getting a tiny bit of red from the left. Still don't feel like I'm getting any from the right, and we're definitely getting all the blue, so I'm going to take a Mobilizer, number 3. I'm going to take a Mobilizer, number 4. Quad a Mobilizer deck? Take every Proliferate card we see now? What is going on? Alright, well our curve can be turn 3 Eye of Malcator, turn 4 Immobilizer almost every game. I have no idea what to do here. There's also Infectious Bite, that's like the first pretty great green card we've seen in a while, and Lattice Blade Mantis? I'm just gonna accept I no longer know how to draft. We'll take a Mirren Bardiche here. Solid artifact with a good enter the battlefield effect. We do wheel the Retrofitter, so blue-white artifacts it is. Quad Immobilizer deck. And let's see what we can get going here. Even if I have to play everything that I pick up in pack 3, if I end up in an archetype this open, we can probably get some quality cards in pack 3. Yep, Eye of Malcator, join us. Quicksilver Fisher. Somebody's taking the 2-mana 2/1 lifelink artifact creature. Just in like white-red or something. Well, that's not good for us. We have like no 1 or 2 mana cards right now. I mean, it's a pile of good cards. 2 Retrofitter, 4 Immobilizer. 3rd Eye of Malcator. That is just always the turn 3 play. Scry a little to guarantee the turn 4 Immobilizer. Alright, Ichor Synthesizer is good for us. Very nice to get that pick 13. It's a good 2-mana creature, and that's what we need. Now we take an Ossification. Could splash in a Kaito. Fine card. I do already have 4 4-mana cards, though. And Ossification is excellent removal, which we are lacking. We only have Mesmerizing Dose right now, but I guess if we go into black, we have Dose plus Drown and Ichor. I think I just go Ossification here, probably Wheel Prism and just splash just the Proliferate removal spell and don't worry about Kaito. Yeah, I'm just going to take Ossification. Very, very good addition to this deck. Another Mesmerizing Dose. Very good with all these Immobilizers. Augury also good. I'm going to have no 2-mana creatures. Good gravy. Probably just take Listener Seer to actually have a 1-drop. We maybe wheel the Transplant Theorist here. If we don't, that's okay, because I already have a ton of 4-mana stuff to do, but it would be a good addition to the deck. Let's make sure we can actually play something before turn 4. I think for the same reason we take the Duelist of Deep Faith, even if it doesn't synergize perfectly, it's just a good 2-drop. Now Escaped Experiment, which does synergize well. We need more 2-drops, and we can maybe wheel the Theorist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Feels unlikely, but maybe. I guess a tiny bit more likely to wheel the Experiments, but the Experiment's a lot more important right now. Well, I actually have 2 1-mana creatures and 3 2-mana, which isn't good, but it's not horrible. I'm actually going to go Theorist here and see if we wheel Experiment. Well, if I splash, I can go Voidwing Hybrid here. Comes back to our hand from our graveyard every time we proliferate. Goldwarden's Helm is a 3-drop that has an artifact entering the battlefield. Very good with Retrofitters and Eyes of Malcator and everything. There's that Prism for the black splash, but I think we're getting enough stuff to just be solid, just blue-white here. Transplant Theorist number 2. Vivisurgeon's Insight isn't horrible. Augury is very good. What's our creature count at? 11? Little low, but really good non-creature stuff. And it's more like 12, 13 because of these equipment. And each of these eyes is kind of like half a creature. It's like almost 16. I don't think I'm playing Custodian, but I will take it here. I'm not going to play Aspirant's Ascent. See if we wheel our 2-1. We didn't. Who on the actual planet Earth would be wanting that in their deck? I guess if they just don't have 2-drops, even if it's a really bad 2-drop for any deck but ours, if they don't have 2-drops, they're still going to try to play it. I think it should have wheeled. But again, that's not accounting for somebody might just be at a distinct lack of 2-drops and just needs something they can put on the board and trade with. So they're just playing it as a Goblin Piker, a 2-mana 2-1 with no text. Alright. It is what it is. We've definitely salvaged a very strange draft into a deck that just looks like a very synergistic pile of cards. So we knew what archetype was looking underdrafted and just kind of dove in. Cut an eye here. Yep, not an incredible deck, but doesn't look bad at all. We're going to 16 lands here and drop the Charge of the Mites. Call it a deck. First time I've gotten to play blue-white artifacts, which should be a fun archetype, but I don't have any Cephalopod Sentries, which are the best reason to do this. That's a little sad. Other than that, though, Looks like a reasonable, just average deck here, which is a lot better than I thought I could hope for after, you know, pack 1 or midway into pack 2. So, not an excellent deck, but decent salvaging of how the start of the draft went into, yeah, this just looks like a normal everyday deck that I would have drafted without anything weird happening in the draft pod. Yeah, call it a deck. Alright, here's a look at the deck we're going to be playing today. We've got a couple things going for us. We've got primarily a bunch of blue-white aggro stuff with cards like Unctus's Retrofitter that can turn our non-creature artifacts into 4/4s or our artifact creatures into 4/4s. So having a couple of those are some of our best beat sticks. But we also have some Eye of Malkators, which are 4/4 beat sticks every time we play an artifact, which is quite nice. Tons of cards to trigger as we're playing our artifacts. Transplant Theorist letting us draw a card, discard a card whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under our control. And the other big synergy we have here is 4 copies of Tamiyo's Immobilizer to really lock things down and harass our opponent's creatures, with a good amount of Proliferate, of course, 2 Mesmerizing Dose, an Experimental Augury, and Vivisurgent's Insight to get another oil counter on these Immobilizers and keep them tapping things for a while. So pretty interesting deck here. Don't know how I feel about it yet. I don't think it's the best blue-white artifacts deck I've ever seen. We don't have any Cephalopod Sentries, which would have been great, and we don't have a lot of the premium 2-drops for the deck. Didn't get any copies of the 2-mana 2/1 lifelinking artifact creature. That would have been excellent in here. But still looks like a decent deck, and we'll have to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are in game 1. This hand doesn't look super keepable in this format. We just sit here, then we tap a thing, then we tap some things. Don't really play anything for quite some time, and that's only if I hit a bunch of lands here. I think I have to mulligan this into something that might have some actual early game action of some kind. Alright, 1-drop, 2-drop, good enough for me. We'll keep that. Drop a plains. Hit the 4th land, we're definitely not going to grab anything off Dune Mover. Playing against blue-red with a turn 1 Ichor Synthesizer, that does lock off our Crawling Chorus. Unfortunate time, locks off our 2/1 Dune Mover as well. That card's actually just very good against us. Here's a Thrumming Bird from our opponents. They can proliferate every time that damages us. Help them get a bunch of counters on the Synthesizer early. Well, Retrofitter was a good draw here. We're just going to upgrade the Dune Mover rather than waiting to make an Immobilizer a creature. Let's beef up that Dune Mover and get that sending in. Boom, hit them for 4 damage and a poison counter. Unctus's Retrofitter being a beautiful draw here. Lets us curve out 1, 2, 3, and 4 next turn. 4th mana for our opponent. They will play an Experimental Augury. That's going to get 2 counters on Synthesizer, 1 for casting an instant and 1 for proliferating. The Synthesizer turns into a 3/3 unblockable once it has 4 counters on it. Can even get a 3rd from the Thrumming Bird. Ooh, there's a Flamestoker as well. Very, very powerful card. Can let them discard their hand to draw 4 later in the game. So huge card draw from that. We drop our Immobilizer here and play it aggressively, tapping the Synthesizer to guarantee 6 damage in here. And 2 poison counters corrupting our opponent. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of the cards that care about corrupted, but it's a thing. It's still like a check mark on the list of things we've done this game. Halved our opponent's life total, corrupted them with poison counters. Alright, they're going to Molten Rebuke our Dune Mover. Hit us with the Synthesizer and the Thrumming Bird. Might as well hit us with the Flamestoker then, because I could just tap it down. Alright, they have changed their mind, going to hit us with just the Thrumming Bird. This Flamestoker is going to be a really bad time. They're going to draw 4 pretty soon. I think I'm Mesmerizing Dosing the Synthesizer here. I don't think Thrumming Bird matters too much. Like, it's going to make it so they can get the Flamestoker going earlier, but outside of that, there's not, like, It's still going to happen eventually anyway. Our synthesizer is a big dork. They're at 4 poison now. Maybe just proliferating a bunch off of random draws is going to be good enough. We can put them to 6 by tapping Flamestoker. Probably worth it. 6 poison here. I'm going to play this land because we do have some card draw in our deck that would make us want to have played the land now. Because then if I play card draw and I need to play another land next turn to play a spell, I can't play enough lands. Can't play 2 lands in 1 turn. I do want to leave at least 1 land in hand though, because I do have draw and discard effects in here. We'll immobilize the Strider if they activate it. They just remove a counter to do it. Yeah, that's sketchy. Put them to 7 poison. Probably should have actually played the island because one of my card draw spells is double blue and 3. And I have more blue spells in the deck in general that I could end up drawing into needing to play, you know, multiple blue cards in 1 turn. Probably not going to matter, but we'll see. Our opponent is down to 5. They might just die to combat damage before poison. They're at 5 life and 7 poison. They're going to draw a lot of cards here, though. For 1 mana, they're just going to draw 4. Incredible work from Flamestoker. But again, they would have been able to cast it by now, even without Thrumming Bird, because they've got 7 mana on board. They just wouldn't be able to play creatures alongside it right now. There's the Vivisurgeon's Insight. Seems good. I think this auto tap is correct because I have an island in hand, so I can have 1 of each source up after this. Yeah, put them to 8 poison counters. And those are solid draws. Can't play any of them immediately. I think I'm going to attack with both and tap Meldweb Strider to put them at 9 poison, so if I top deck a Proliferate card, they're dead. That feels like where we want to be. And they have to be very, very careful with how they attack as well, because I'll still have 2 poisonous creatures on board. Unless they have burn. Hexcult Slash is a dumb magic card. It is fair enough they wanted to make sure the toxic decks weren't too good in the limited format. But the way that everything's lined up, now that the format's a little more solved, red and green are just the strongest colors, so it's like the strongest color just gets an even better piece of removal. So, feels pretty bad. Yikes, their own immobilizer as well. Well, we're on that double proliferate game plan. That's kind of our only out now. We need to do it quick, because they are hitting us with Strider here. Little bold, but I guess they can tap down our proliferate creature anyway. Or our poison creature. I think I need to scry, and I need to play my other immobilizer to survive. I need to be able to tap Strider and Synthesizer to not die. Double immobilizer is definitely the line. I guess I go to combat first, make them immobilize the might. Okay. Immobilize the might. Mobilizer. And Scry 2, hoping to find Proliferate on top. That's a very good one. Experimental Augury proliferates and draws us another card, which could hit another Proliferate card. Okay, they're going to draw a card with the Surgical Bay. This is crew 3, so they could crew it with Synthesizer if I try to tap Synthesizer. Serum Core Chimera, okay. They cast enough non-creature spells, they can blow some stuff up. I think I let them go to combat here because it's not lethal unless they have Volt Charge in hand and they don't have the mana up for Volt Charge. Take our 4 damage if they send it all in. Because if they send both of these in, I can immobilize their Immobilizer and then immobilize their Chimera and they won't have a blocker up, so we just hit them for 1 poison, then we proliferate them out. Yes, they're going to attack with nothing here. Play it very safe. Immobilize Synthesizer. Immobilize Immobilizer. Untap. Immobilize Strider. No, untap and then immobilize Chimera. They can respond by immobilizing Strider. But if they do, then I can immobilize the Strider. Yeah, that's the line. So we tap Synthesizer and Immobilizer here. We can find an on-board, not an on-board win, but a win with Augury. Because now we immobilize the Chimera, and they have to crew Strider right now. And if they do, then I just tap the Strider, and if they don't, then I tap the Thrumming Bird. Either way, they have no blocks. They are going to crew the Strider. So we'll tap that with Immobilizer, but first, let's Proliferate so it still has a counter for later. None of these do anything here, and they scoop them up. They see the writing on the wall. I get to tap the Strider and put them to 9 poison, and then hit them with the Might and put them to the 10th poison. All of the Proliferate actually finding us a poison win there off of the early Crawling Chorus, Dune Mover, Unctus's Retrofitter. Very close, very spicy game 1 for this deck. See if we can keep that up heading into game 2 now. Here we are on the play for game 2, I think. Maybe not. Eye of Malcator into Immobilizer feels pretty good. Even if it is a bit of a slow hand, we're luckily on the play here, so that'll speed it up a little bit. Turn 1 Crawling Chorus. Chorus could punish us pretty hard for that. I think I want to guarantee my 4th land, because I've got a 5-drop card draw spell here. But yeah, Crawling Chorus is nasty against our Dune Mover. We can block and turn it into a Might, but then they've still got a Might hitting us every turn. Oh wow, they're just gonna... I'm very okay with that, okay. Dune Mover pulling a Planar Disruption from our opponent is good. Let's see what Eye of Malcator finds us. Land. I'm interested in 1 more land, but that's it. I keep them? I feel like I can wait, because I think I'm going to just play another Eye next turn and scry again, so I can find the land if I need it. Then I also have a Mobilizer. Yeah, I'm just going to dump these on bottom because I don't really want more than 5 lands right now. Right, I'm going to go Eye of Malcator turn 4, Immobilizer turn 5. I don't need the 5th land till turn 6. Okay. Eye of Malcator. I guess I could play Immobilizer instead, and then on turn 5 I can go Eye and Duelist. That drawing a 2-drop did make me actually kind of want the 5th land here. It's a little awkward. Probably still okay to just play another Eye, though. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Island and Quicksilver Fisher. Alright, the 5th land and another 5-drop. Seems good to me. So we're going to hit for 4 here. Next turn we're going to play a Mobilizer, hit for 8. Right? Like tap down a blocker, hit for 8. That's going to be massive. Alright, we're corrupted. 3 poison counters on us from the Crawling Chorus, and Phyrexia and Vindicator's the play. Whenever it's dealt damage, prevent the damage and deal that much to any other target. Alright, cool, but I'm just going to tap that. I actually maybe should have put the Fisher on the bottom, because if we hit another artifact the turn after I play Immobilizer, that's just lethal. So we should be... yeah, we should just be trying to draw artifacts right now. I shouldn't have kept the Fisher. But I guess the play now is just hit them for 8, let them hit us however hard they want, and then we just play it slow. We like Vivisurgeon's Insight and immobilize the Vindicator next turn while we wait to draw another artifact. We have 4 immobilizers in this deck, so if we draw into another immobilizer, we'll just tap down 2 blockers, activate both of our eyes, and they don't know that we don't have an artifact in hand, and they know we scryed one to the top, so we kind of have to play around us, just top decking an artifact, or playing an artifact here. I mean, I guess they don't have to, but it's definitely safest for them to hold up 2 blockers at all times, because otherwise I can just immobilize the only blocker they have left and kill them if my eyes go active. They are going to send in the Vindicator. We'll take 5. They have an additional blocker. They do Annex Sentry, and it exiles an artifact or creature? Busted. Rude as yuck. Well, we'll play a 4/3 to block the other 2 things. And tap the Vindicator. Could also just not block these and I just take 2 damage. Yeah, it's only 2 damage. We'd probably actually Insight and dig farther. It's not bad. That's a good blocker here. And an artifact for next turn. Close game again. 8 life for them, 12 life for us. Could go either way, depends on what they've got. And depends on what we draw. They land and an Indoctrination Attendant. They're going to pick up their Planar Disruption, put it on the Eye of Malcator or the Tamio's Immobilizer instead. Put it on the Immobilizer. Alright. That's cute. And my own Immobilizer now? Take the 5 in the sky. Try to hit them here. Take the 5 in the sky, tap the Attendant instead. Or am I just locking things down again? I guess I'm playing a little slow. And just keeping Vindicator from hitting us. I can kill the Eye with the Attendant and the Chorus. That's probably just fine. Like we have Glistener Seer now, like we have good scrying and stuff to try to hit the long game instead. So trade into the Attendant because the Malcator can't ever block anyway. So if we ever want it to deal with any of their creatures, we have to do it while attacking, so we'll take the opportunity here. And if we hit them in the face, that's fine, but I almost think I would rather kill one of their creatures. Alright, we hit them in the face. They are down to 4. to stop at my upkeep in case I need to scry again with Glistener Seer, if I need to find a specific out based on what they do. Prosthetic Injector, not actually that scary here, that's pretty fine. And I guess almost their whole board has Toxic, so if they go wide enough, that could be pretty threatening. Move to combat, we tap Vindicator. Get our Glistener Seer Scry. In their end step, find a Transplant Theorist. That does feel pretty good. Draw a card, discard a card every time we play an artifact. Play that, trigger the eye. Attack with it, trade into Attendant. Might be better to just play Bardiche though, play another 4-power attacker first. But I think that's going to be solid. Maybe we just play the 4-power flying attacker though, the Quicksilver Fisher. Because then if they don't have a response to that, they're just going to die in the sky. A couple turns from now. Yeah, I think I can keep the Theorist in case things go wrong. I still have good stuff to do. But I'm actually just going to play Quicksilver Fisher. And plan to tap down the Vindicator again, then attack for 4 in the sky. That seems like our best bet. Draw a card. Unctus's Retrofitter's the draw. That's another 4-power with haste, basically. Which is very threatening. I mean, I guess I'd have to activate a Mobilizer, but I could put it on the eye, and then the eye is just forever a 4-4. Or I upgrade the Dune Mover. It feels pretty good. I think I have to keep that. Do I actually get rid of Theorist then? Because Bardiche also feels good. Yeah, maybe I'm getting rid of Theorist here. Alright, we've got our game plan. Attack for 4 in the sky. Charge of the Mites. Well, goodbye, Quicksilver Fisher. And so much for that plan. The Injector on the Attendant, interesting. They want a giant toughness blocker, or are they actually going to attack us with that? Could be a pretty good thing if they attack us. I guess if they play another creature, we can't really threaten lethal or anything. And we take the hit. Yeah, if they play another creature, this is perfectly reasonable for them. Yeah. Don't love seeing that. Injector onto the Duelist, so it's a Toxic 2 double striker. Another Transplant Theorist? That's hilarious. Actually don't think it's quick enough here. I guess I'm attacking with Eye of Malcator if I play it, which is the same thing I'm going to do if I play Retrofitter or Bardiche. I almost feel like I go Bardiche here instead of Theorist and attack with Eye. I guess I can set up our draws if we get really late. I'll just keep it, but I don't think I'm playing it this turn. We drop a Bardiche. Send in our 4/4. They have to block with something. They probably just chump with Chorus. Because they can't kill this. I guess they could kill it if they block with all 4. If their last card in hand is a combat trick, Jawbone Duelist kills it pretty easily. And if they block it with all 4, we'll kill the Sentry and get our other eye back and scry 2. Okay, well, it's a combat trick. Can't do anything about that. That's a pretty good last card in hand. Not only is it a combat trick, but it draws them a card. Yeah, that's horrific. Injector onto the Attendant. If I can get them down to 1 blocker, then I can kill them, but I just can't. Maybe we should have just been scrying Theorists to the bottom for Immobilizer number 3. There's a Bardiche of their own for another blocker. You can even put that on the Vindicator or the Duelist later, and that'll be super scary. 4 blockers total? Oh, they're just going to pass and play it safe anyway. Alright, I'm going to use my last counter on... Well, if I hit something I didn't want to draw, I can discard it to Theorist. And it is my last counter, so if I draw into a Proliferate card, that would be rough. Yeah, we're really hoping for like a Mesmerizing Dose or something. I think I'm still going to do it here, though, because we need that badly enough. Okay. Because we need to Proliferate for the Immobilizer as well. If I dose the Attendant, then I can attack with my 4/3, and I can play Retrofitter to make this other Dune Mover a 4/4. I can attack with 2 4-power creatures here. If I dose the Vindicator, I never have to tap it down again, but I don't get any attacks here. Still have to kind of tap other stuff down anyway. I think... Is there any way to lethal? I tap 2 things? Definitely not, right? I tap that and that. They have 3 blockers total for my 4/4, 2/2, and 4/3. Yeah, that's definitely not lethal. I think we're dosing Attendant. Weirdly enough. Then I retrofit the Dune Mover. And send those in. They have to both be blocked. They can only kill one of them with just a straight up trade. The other one, I guess they could do Duelist and Sentry, and I can only kill one of those 2, but then I could kill Sentry and get my eye back. So yeah, they're going to have to make a chump block here with Crawling Chorus. They get a Might off of it, which is fine, because that can't block for them. They are playing off the top, so I've just drawn a random card from the top of the library. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't impact their board too much. Because this game is like razor thin here, in terms of just going either way. Bardiche onto the Duelist. We'll give it a chump block with our Glistener Seer. Actually, maybe don't even immobilize here. Because if they attack with Duelist and Vindicator, I just kill them on the crackback by tapping 2 of their creatures. Even if they play another creature, if they attack with both, then they die. We get 4 poison counters? There's no white Proliferate, is there? So they hit me for 4 poison, then I tap Vindicator and Sentry and kill them on the crackback? If the last card in their hand is Combat Trick, we die. But actually, no, I'm just trumping with Seer if they attack. We're fine. I guess it's Vigilant. That's the problem. Yeah, I should have still tapped the Duelist because it's Vigilant. But yeah, definitely not tapping Vindicator this turn. I mean, even tapping 2 of their blockers is lethal on board if they have nothing left in hand. Nothing left in hand, we just tap Vindicator now, Duelist next turn, they have 1 blocker, they block our 4/3 and take 4. So tap Vindicator. Draw. And we tap Duelist, that's it, right? Block, take 4. Yeah, they're scooping them up. I'm just making sure because it's a close game. If this doesn't kill them, we're gonna die on the crackback by tapping all our creatures here. And it's gonna kill them. That's gonna be another victory for us with this blue-white artifacts build. The Tamio's Immobilizer build just took every Immobilizer we saw. And it led us into a 2-0 start heading into Game 3. Here we are in Game 3, turn 1 Crawling Chorus, turn 2 Dune Mover, turn 3 Eye of Malcator, try and scry into a 4-drop. Seems reasonable. Dune Mover actually helpful in this hand because it grabs our blue source that we need. No! Wow, that's savage. The 1 mana 1/2 to block our 1 mana 1/1. RIP. Hopes and dreams of curving out like a champion. Pestilent Siphoner, it's fine. I'll offer a trade with Dune Mover, I think. I guess it depends on what we scry into. Probably just trying to hit the 4th land for this Immobilizer since we drew into that. Trying to hit 4/5. Just curve out with the eye. That seems good. Land 4. We could keep the Dose, but I don't have the double blue anyway, and I'm trying to make it to 5 mana, so I'm actually going to dump that on the bottom. I'll offer a trade for either of these. Alright, 2 damage and a poison counter go to our opponent. So we can start proliferating poison counters if we draw into any of that. Hit us for 1 and a poison counter with their Siphoner. Play a land. They're going to play a 4 mana creature like a Lattice Blade Mantis. With the Cultivator here. No, 3 mana Stinging Hive Master is the play. 4 mana, we're going to go Immobilizer, which will activate the Eye of Malcator. And then I guess we tap the Cultivator so that we attack with Dune Mover and Eye, and their only option is to trade their 3/2 off. They do get a Might when they trade that off, but that's probably fine. I guess they get double block to kill the Eye, but then I kill both creatures. Maybe I just don't tap anything right now. It's actually fine. We can just keep these counters for later and start tapping during their turn. Alright, a trade 1/1 for the mover. That is a-okay, and that makes me very happy I didn't use Immobilizer, because if I was going to use it, I was probably just tapping Cultivator and making them block that way. So the fact that they wanted to block that way anyway, pretty good thing I didn't waste an oil counter then. We'll let them hit us with Siphoner, but I'll block the Might if they send that in. Turn our Chorus into a Might as well. Alright, we're at 2 poison counters now, and 18 life. Nice tapped Eye of Malcator, let's go. We've got a 4/4 Eye of Malcator during our opponent's turn. Children's Head Cleaver is the play, which will, I think, get tapped down here. We'll do it now so that the Immobilizer is untapped. Although, yeah, I mean, to be fair, tapping it down, the Eye can already get in, and the Might can't get in either way. So I think we actually just save the counter again. We just hope to hit a land, play Bardiche, attack with just the Eye. Don't hit a land, but Retrofitter is nice. Guess I just buff this Might token. Because we know we have at least one more artifact for the Eye to activate again. And this Might's never going to be able to attack unless we buff it up here. So I believe we buff up the Might. And just keep sending that in. No blocks, alright. Take 4 and a poison counter. Opponent is down to 10. 10 life and 2 poison. We are about to get corrupted no matter what we do. But we can tap Head Cleaver at least. And don't take a ton of poison. We'll just take 1 from Siphoner. So, tap Head Cleaver now. Take this 1 poison in the sky. Bone Picker Scourge is the play. Death Touch Lifelink because we're corrupted. We can keep tapping that down though, but the rest of their board is toxic, which is threatening. Experimental Augur, we just cannot hit that 5th land. It's unfortunate. I am running 16 here, I think, so it is a little self-imposed. But the idea was that I have cards like Dune Mover and some card draw like Augury. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Bone Picker Scourge is kind of nuts here. So we are going to Augury and see what we get. Wow, are we ever going to find the second blue? That's really not what we want to see. We have to just take the plains here so we know we can at least Bardiche. But I can't just take a dose without a second blue. Or my whole hand is still uncastable. Yeah, that is unfortunate. I think we're running a 9-7 split. 9 islands, 7 plains. Just double checking. I think that's fine, but maybe we need to be on 10-6 even. But I think 9-7's fine, it's just sometimes you are going to draw the wrong lands. Send in the Might. They are going to trade the Scourge for it. Alright, feels pretty good. Can actually have a decent hold on the board state if that's gone, as long as the last card in their hand isn't great. We just tap Head Cleaver and we can block everything but the Siphoner. Alright, we're going to take 1 from Siphoner, 16 life and 4 poison. Play a Dross Pits past the turn. There's another Eye of Malcator. Quite tempting to play that first. Just scry this turn. I'm at 16 life. I think that's fine. It's not like Bardiche is blocking anything. It'll block Dune Mover, but Retrofitter already does that. Yeah, let's get our scry. Duelist and Glistener Seer. I actually don't like either of those right now. We just need the second blue or more artifacts. Neither of those fit that bill. And just to slam dunk scry those into the garbage bin, into the trash. Alright, Eye of Malcator hits them down to 8 life now. Our opponent is at 8 life and 3 poison. We are at 16 life but 4 poison. Infectious Inquiry. They're going to draw a couple cards and lose 2 life. That puts them down to 6, but does give us another poison counter, which is threatening. We're at 5 poison now. Siphoner about to put us to the 6th. Contagious Vorak can proliferate and put us to the 6th, or draw them another land, and it's another solid blocker for our opponent. So very crisp 2 for 1 for our opponent here. They are going to choose to get the poison counter on us. And we're going to mobilize the Head Cleaver. Take our 1 poison in the sky, and we're at 7 poison counters after that double proliferate from Inquiry into Vorak, which is pretty bad. There's the second blue source for the Fisher that we can play later. I think it's more important to play an artifact this turn, though, and just beat in, force some blocks here. We are going to play the Bardiche. What happens if I tap a creature right now? If I tap Vorak, they have 2 blockers, they chump both of the eyes and take 2 damage. That is the forced block. That leaves them with a Vorak, a Head Cleaver, and a Siphoner. We just die to Head Cleaver Siphoner if I do that. If I don't hold the Mobilizer up, so that's not the play. So we just attack with the eyes. Alright. Yeah, that play would end up with us taking 3 poison counters next turn, which is obviously not good. Alright, they're going to kill one of our eyes. We'll kill the 3/3, I suppose. But they will take 4 and go to 2 life, which I'm a big fan of. Any of our creatures connect next turn, they will be dead, but we don't have another artifact to activate the eye. Okay, oil counter on the cultivator. They're going to go ahead and sacrifice the draw spits to draw a card now. Play another land. They move to combat. We have to tap. I guess I don't have to tap Head Cleaver. But if they have instant speed removal, we'll die, so probably supposed to still do it. And they're just going to pass, hold up all their blockers. There's a Gold Warden's Helm for an artifact off the top to trigger the Eye of Malcator. We attack with everybody and they're forced into 3 blocks. Feels like the play. Could even try to Immobilizer pre-combat here, but then if they have instant speed removal, we die, so I don't think I'd do it. I think I play around instant speed removal. I just tap down Dune Mover, and then I attack with everybody and they blow up one of these creatures. Block the other 2, they just hit us for 2 toxic and like proliferate once and we're dead. So I don't think I go for the onboard lethal here, it's just too risky. Triple chump it is, so we probably could have found the lethal there. But this is still pretty much guaranteed to win next turn, because we just tap down Head Cleaver and they have 0 blockers, nor any attackers. Yeah, I like playing around the removal a lot here. That is about the only card that would make doing this worse than the other thing. But any just actual removal spell instead of combat trick style removal, we would just straight die if I tried to immobilize now. And this way we still are very likely to win the game next turn, while being a lot safer from dying here. And there we go. There's the concession from our opponent, and we are now 3-0 with the quadruple Tamiyo's Immobilizer artifact deck. Here we are now in game 4. Our opponent is on the play, but we've got a pretty sweet start. Duelist, well, Retrofitter's actually kind of awkward turn 3 here, but we have both our colors. We have a Duelist and then an Immobilizer on 4. I actually just have to sit on the Retrofitter. Probably not. We're probably supposed to just play it as a 2-3 Toxic with no text, but that's kind of rough. Eye of Malcator from our opponent. The blue-black Eye of Malcator deck. Interesting. We'll see what it does here. I'm not under much pressure. Have to Retrofitter here, but I think it's still probably better to put something on the board, even with its ability not triggering, because I'm not going to want to animate the Immobilizer, and animating the Theorist is fine, but not great. Alright, Inquiry from our opponent. And that is it. Well, don't need to tap anything down, so we'll just play the Transplant Theorist here. Draw a card, discard a card. This land does let us cast Fisher and Bardiche, but I can still just play Immobilizer next turn and be perfectly happy with it. I guess I like Bardiche better than Fisher. I should probably just choose a 5-drop and go for that next turn in case I don't need to interact with whatever they're playing, so I still have something to do. I don't know. I'm getting greedy though. I'm just going to discard the land. I feel like it's quite likely Immobilizer is going to be... Oh yeah, Immobilizer is going to be good, but Ossification is going to be better. Exile this Masticore, not have to deal with that massive threat. Mesmerizing Dose instead, but then it still has its activated ability, or its triggered ability in their upkeep. They can discard a card that costs 3 or more and then blow up our Mesmerizing Dose. So that's not going to work. Yeah, we need to ossify that. Escaped Experiment from our opponent will trigger the Eye of Malcator. They'll go ahead and hit us for 4. Crawling Chorus is the draw. I think I immobilize and then I discard Chorus. Also Dose plus Chorus. It's fine. I think I like Immobilizer better though. Oh, that's annoying. Send in the squad. Another artifact here. I hope this player wasn't in my draft pod, and they're why I didn't get any escaped experiments. The blue-black artifact build coming in hot. Anoint with Affliction, exile our 2-3. Fair enough, there's the 5th mana for us. They're down to just experiments. They do give -3, -0 to something every time they attack, but I can still have a 1-3 to block with Bardiche. So we'll go Bardiche here. And they need to draw something good, or we do have the lead on board. And in terms of cards in hand, ooh, another Theorist. Sierra Force still pretty reasonable blocker to stay safe. Yeah, we'll pass. Just start attacking with Vigilance. Alright, so they gotta pass the turn. There's another Immobilizer. Feels spectacular. Send in the Bardiche, they could double block, but it's got that Vigilance. Good stuff. If they don't draw another creature, Immobilizer is lethal. So we'll go for the Immobilizer. Augury. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. Just keep all the cards that affect the board state. So we tap one experiment now, and then we tap another experiment when it goes to our turn. We'll let them attack. Okay, tap experiment. Okay, I'm gonna just double do this. Let's see. Got other options for whatever happens here. Chrome Prowler. Oh, that triggers the eye as well. I almost feel like that would have been better for them if they let me attack. Because then they could have traded Prowler for the 4/3 and killed my 2/4 without losing any cards. All in all, I think it's pretty great for us that they went for that at that timing. Yeah, I'll absolutely take that. Now we'll just play Fisher to threaten to kill them next turn. Just need to not take 6 here. Not a lot of blue and black combat tricks, so if they don't activate the eye, I don't think we're dying this turn. At least not on board. Multiple removal spells would do it. Or if they have some kind of life loss to throw at us. Whatever happens here, we're going to try to just stop as much damage as possible to play safe, but keep Quicksilver Fisher on board. So, it's okay if Theorist dies in the blocks, but make whatever block with Quicksilver Fisher will stop the most damage, but keep it on board. Time to see if they have another Chrome Prowler, I guess? I think I'm going to save Immobilizer for during their turn so we can get 2 things tapped down again. Tap 1 during theirs and 1 when we untap for a later attack. So we'll just go for like a main phase dose. Moving to combat. Serum Snare. That's actually disgusting. Alright. That's pretty good against our Mesmerizing Dose there. Now they have the eye, and our Fisher is tapped. Well, we're pretty glad we didn't go all out again. And they're just going to scoop them up now. They are out of nonsense. And they know we get to tap 2 creatures before combat this time. And yeah, I'm guessing it was mainly just no interaction for the flyer there. Is going to lead us into 4-0 now. Pretty excellent run for this blue-white deck no matter what happens. Because again, I don't think this draft went perfectly, but I am pretty dang happy with finally finding our footing in the end of the draft and just realizing all this blue-white nonsense just going to be around everywhere. So, yeah, pretty happy with this deck. At least 4 wins, doing some good stuff, pretty much breaking even. See if we can take it any farther as we head into round 5. Here we are in round 5. Our opponent is on the play. We have a potential turn 2 Dune Mover to turn 3 Retrofitter. Looking pretty good if they don't kill this Dune Mover. Probably the plan. Use the Dune Mover to get the 3rd land. Ooh, and a 2nd Retrofitter for later. Seems pretty good. Opponent is on green-black with a turn 2 Copper Longlegs, a little 1/3. That would be a pretty annoying blocker for our Dune Mover, but Retrofitter can solve that problem. Make our Dune Mover a 4/4 to attack into their 1/3. An Infectious Inquiry, they'll draw a couple of cards, give us a poison counter. Fair enough, all good. No attacks, let's drop our Retrofitter and send in that Dune Mover. Hit them for 4 and a poison counter. They are down to 14 life and 1 poison counter. Testament Bearer is the next play for our opponent. I would love to exile that, because then they won't, they won't get any of that death trigger value. Whenever the audio cuts out for a second, it's because I accidentally clicked outside of the Magic Arena window. I do play windowed so I can keep an eye on recording and everything like that. So yeah, let's just get rid of that, and I guess just send in Dune Mover. There's no reason to send in Retrofitter, unless we think they're ready to chump block with long legs, but I don't think that's happening yet. Immobilize all their next threats now. There's a Bone Picker Scourge, that's fine. Branch Blight Stalker also fine. They have any double blocks that kill Dune Mover at the cost of only 1 creature? I don't think they do. Yeah, the only way to kill Dune Mover is the 3-1 and the 1-3, or the 3-1 and the 2-2, in which case either way I'll kill both creatures. Could immobilize here. Might just be on Duelist Retrofitter to go wide. I think I'm just sending in Dune Mover right now. Just gonna hit them again. Are we going wide? I feel like we're going wide. I think we're doing it. 6 life for them. Unless they can like proliferate twice and give this lifelink before their combat, then we should be able to just like immobilize them out. How bad is getting corrupted here? Because I can immobilize the Scourge, but yeah, I'll actually block here. Cruel Grimnarch is the play. There goes 1 immobilizer. But I still have another. So we just immobilize the Grimnarch here and attack with everybody. If they double block a Retrofitter, they kill it, but then they die on board, so they can't afford to do that. They have to chump Dune Mover and take 2. Yeah. I guess I'll hold this in hand in case they have another Grimnarch so they don't get to get any life. And we do have some draw discard spells in our deck. Cool. Chump Dune Mover, take 2. They're at 4 life and 4 poison now. There's a Pestilent Siphoner. Another chump blocker. Land for turn. Okay, we will probably play the second white source, but let's tap Grimnarch so we can get in with everybody. Siphoner on Dune Mover, Long Legs on Retrofitter. Alright, just the chumps. They're down to 2 life and 5 poison. We'll drop our planes. Pass. And that's another player that has been immobilized out of the game. We are now 5-0. Excellent run for this deck heading into Game 6. Here we are on the play for round number 6. We need to draw 1 land, but if I hit 1 land, the eyes can scry into other stuff, as well as beating down, like the eyes scry into our next land, so we're crossing our fingers and hoping to win one of our first 2 coin flips for a land here. Alright, missed number 1, but Experimental Augury is actually a sweet draw. We can use that to find the land we need, or at least dig 3 cards closer. Alright, take the land, that's what we need. There's a Retrofitter to permanently activate one of these eyes. If nothing else, land. I do need the 4th. Not super excited about the 5th. We'll leave 1 here. And I think I'm just playing both of the eyes in a row. I'm just slamming in here. Again. It's less mana efficient, but it puts more power toughness on the board. So next time I play an artifact, I'm attacking for 8. Ossification and Immobilizer are both excellent. I think I actually want Immobilizer first, because I just want to play Immobilizer the next 2 turns. Not that it really matters, because I'll still draw both in time. Oh, they're just going to Volt Charge my face. That's very rude. I don't They just, all right. They're like, I guess we're racing. Let's race. All right. If all they do is tap out for another creature next turn, they're just dead because we just double immobilize. Oh my god, this is going to be nasty. 8 life, 2 blockers up. Immobilizer number 2 of 4. Sorry. But that's just game. Did you try to block in the Phyrexia all will be one format? You deserve financial compensation. Call 1-800... That's so evil. We are 6-0 now. Very much in the money. A very good run with this deck. Super happy with that. Let's see if we can take it home. Find a final win in the next 3 games. Heading into round number 7 now. Alright, here we are for round 7. Very slow opening hand, but if Augury can find us the planes for ossification, we've got pretty good interaction and great late game card draw. I'm not in love with it, but I don't think it's worth a mulligan. Our opponent disagrees. They are going to take at least 1 mulligan here. Alright, 1 mulligan for our opponent. They are on red. Ooh, Dune Mover. Well, now I don't have to Augury yet. We'll just play Dune Mover, so we're actually curving out with an early game creature, and that does improve the hand a lot. That guarantees our white source while actually giving us a turn 2 play. There's a Dune Mover of their own. Probably offer the Dune Mover trades. I don't think I'm ossifying that thing. And I do think I want to get a poison counter on them to proliferate with Augury. Unfortunately, they are just going to take the trade, so much for that. But we'll still Augury during their end step. See if we can get something good. Fifth land is fine for Vivisurgeon's Insight here, but I might be a little higher on Immobilizer. We just play Transplant Theorist next turn. Use that to try to dig for the 5th land, if we need it. Or I guess, you know what, I should probably take the land, and then if I hit a 6th land, then I discard it with Transplant Theorist. Like with Transplant Theorist, it's kind of hard to flood out, because we discard every land we draw past the 5th. Yeah. So this guarantees us the 5th mana while letting us filter away any extra lands. Obviously can't block that Menace creature. I'll go land into Orthodoxy Enforcer. Can play Retrofitter and Ossification here, make Theorist a 4/4. Seems fine to me. Yeah, we'll ossify one of these two. Probably the Vigilant one. Gonna be the more annoying blocker. X Gold Halberd. Get a 2/2 Rebel with First Strike and Trample during their turn. They can move that around. Oh god. Bladehold Warwhip for a double striker. Not a good time for us. And this is a couple of lands here. Hopefully we find something non-land. I don't have any one... I do have a 1-mana blue card and a 1-mana white card, so I guess I need to hold up. Actually, I have 1 white 1-mana card and 1 blue 1-mana card, and I have no way to know which I'm going to draw here. If I cast this now, I guess I could draw Plains in the 1-drop white card, whereas if I play the island and then hold up a Plains and it's the blue card, I can't do anything. So yeah, I think we cast it before the land. In that case, we do it the 1-mana blue card. Theorist is still a good attacker. Retrofitter is actually fine. They can trade the double striker into it, but that's it. I guess it blocks their 2/2 well, so we should probably hold Retrofitter back. Glistener Seer could also block the 2/2 though. I don't think I'm racing particularly well here, with my hand looking the way it is. But I don't see much of a better option. I mean, like, Dose on the double striker could be decent. It's going to take all their mana to move that somewhere else. the equipment. That is really good for me. Unless they have the combat. 1 white mana? I'm probably missing a 1 white mana trick. Oh, they have the +1/+1 trick? That would be bad. Oh, we'll kill the double striker. Oh, they might have thought that it was first strike all the time instead of just first strike during their turn. It's just first strike during their turn. Yeah, that I feel like that block goes really well for me. Yeah, that might just cost them the game here. That feels spectacular for us. They do still have more threats, so it is not over. We are still racing and we're not finding action. I probably should have scryed my upkeep, but I forgot to set the stop. Arena doesn't do it automatically, so anytime you play a card like Glisten or Seer, make sure to click on your upkeep. You can tap down the double striker, but they can move the double strike to the other one. But at least it won't be on the Menace card. Yeah, we're probably holding up Retrofitter, because they have nothing to give additional power, so if this has double strike, I can still block and trade with Retrofitter. So we just lock down Aspirant and pass the turn and start scrying with Seer. Theoretically, we should top deck better since we have scry every turn. Oop. But it is a top deck war. Yep, move it to the 2/2 Rebel. No attacks. Let's go ahead and scry. Definitely don't need that. Draw for turn. Okay. I'm choosing to draw for turn, so if they kill Retrofitter, I still get like a chomp and scry. Bardiche is a good draw. Yeah, Bardiche is a very good draw. That should be super helpful. They could trade on blocks, but I can still trade on blocks myself, so I think I actually do attack now. Put a stop on my upkeep in case I want to scry during my upkeep. They're going to take the trade for Retrofitter, fair enough. Put that creature out of here, pass the turn. Koth. Okay, we might just lose. They play Koth, they kill our 1 creature with power. I guess I can move the Bardiche. No, we're fine. If they don't play another creature, we're fine. Yeah, so this is kill this. Please, no other creature, and then I can kill Koth. Okay, yeah, if they could play another blocker there, that might have just been game for us. Because Koth has a +2, so it's just super hard to kill Koth. If they've got protection to block for just a little bit. Luckily, we do get to kill Koth, which is great for us. We just get to sit here scrying every turn, so we're going to draw better than our opponent on average. Since we're setting up our draws and they're drawing blind. There's the Transplant Theorist to filter this island out of here. Draw some other good stuff. Attack for 4. Draw a card, discard a card. Ichor Synthesizer's fine with me. Pass the turn. I can start putting my best cards on the bottom with Theorist as well. Just in case the game goes extra long. I think I leave the last oil counter in case I hit more Proliferate because we're in enough of a lead on board. I don't really need to find anything specific. Although this Lightbringer is going to get really big with its ability. So I actually might need to find like a Tamiyo's Immobilizer. Got 4 in the deck somewhere because I haven't drawn any of them. I did put 1 on bottom, so there's 3 in the next 15 cards. That's solid enough odds to just start scrying, I think. Miss out on the oil proliferation. Yeah, I think we're scrying here. Land out of here, and we'll dump best card, probably like Retrofitter, honestly, on the bottom. Another land for us. It's a 4/3. Load up the Theorist and they can't kill it right now. Need everything I attack with to have at least 3 power. Could also just load up the Synthesizer and offer the trade. Because the trade is just fine. I don't know, I could also just double load up. I should have just loaded up the Theorist. That would have hit for 1 more damage. Yeah, that was a little loose. This is still fine though. Just 1 less point of damage. I like Synthesizer too much. In the back of my head I'm thinking, but this could be unblockable later, and imagine the vigilant unblockable creature, but it's like, no, just get the extra damage right now. We need to be dealing with the here and now, not the 10 years in the future. Double strike on that thing is spooky. We still attack in well though, because it only gets +1/+1. It doesn't get extra for each equipment on it. Oh. Retrofitter's a fine draw here. Just make Theorist a 4/4 that still doesn't attack into Lightbringer. Alright, I probably just make up for past mistakes and just move this stuff over here. Like an absolute doofus. Because I only need to move one of them and I can just make the Helm a 4/4. So they block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They take lethal if they don't have a trick here. They are waiting for something. They might have a trick. Block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if they have like a combat trick, then they're dead. If they have a removal spell, they could live. Let's hope it's a combat trick. Fingers crossed. Or it's nothing. And we're good. Alright. I guess it was nothing. We are going to get a 7-0 with this deck, which is incredibly unexpected. I was very worried again during pack 1 and the first half of pack 2. And then eventually was just like, alright, well, I mean, this is open. Let's go here. Turns out 4 Tamiyo's Immobilizers is a heck of a drug, although we didn't even use 1 that game. But the Retrofitters were spectacular. The Bardiche was a big overperformer for us. And the Eye of Malcators as well. Just turning things into 4/4s, just 4/4 beat sticks were great. Transplant Theorist did some work for us, Quicksilver Fisher. Everything in the deck really got its time to shine. I think we played every single card at least once. Even Crawling Chorus got to die into a Phyrexian Might that we then turned into a 4/4. So even the cards that didn't seem particularly synergistic got to do some stuff, like give us that Phyrexian Might to turn into a 4/4. I guess Iker Synthesizer only just like picked up a bunch of equipment. Duelist of Deep Faith just traded off into something, but even both of those roles were doing their jobs. We're definitely doing their jobs. All in all, excellent deck, had a lot of fun with it, and I would draft 4 copies of Tamiyo's Immobilizer again. I think that's the biggest lesson here. Would draft 4 copies of Tamiyo's Immobilizer again. So very cool draft there, relatively big pivot, and huge rewards from it. We get a 7-0 undefeated run to end today's video. But that's it. That's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more videos in your recommended feeds. If you'd like to hang out with me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.